And welcome back to Capitol Tonight. My next guest is among the few people who were actually sort of singing the governor's praises after listening to his budget proposal on Tuesday, or at least just saying, let's all just calm down, people, it's not over yet. Steve Acquario is the executive director of the New York Association of Counties. He's also a member of the governor's Medicaid redesign team and his mandate relief task force, and he served on the governor's transition team. Steve, you are a busy man.
Oh. Hi, good evening.
Hi. So really, you basically just said the governor took a first step in the budget address, and before everybody got all head up, they should take a deep breath and calm down, because really only calm people can negotiate and not, as the governor would say, run around with their hair on fire. That's not a smart way to go into talks.
Right, and he did say that during his speech about the lobbyists. Yeah, the reason why I said that is this should be no surprise to anybody.
Right.
I mean, we've had the last 2 years, 3 years of essentially declining revenues and increased expenditures. So from our perspective is we just need to be calm here and work through this process. As the governor indicated, we have apparently a $10 billion budget, though I'm not so sure what that budget gap is now with the new accounting principles that were advanced by the governor. But there's a process, and this is the first step in that process. And from our perspective, we need to control spending, cut spending, and he's doing that. And so addressing the deficit right now, that's the first step. That's how this process works.
You basically also, in terms of how counties are going to be directly affected, I mean, AIM, which is Aid to Municipalities, is a revenue sharing program that is going to be taking a 2% cut for cities and towns, et cetera. But counties aren't actually included in that list. That's right?
Well, we used to receive what is called revenue sharing, and that is the new AIM program. It's essentially revenue sharing that the state is sharing with its local governments in recognition of their contribution to the state's economy. The counties have been cut out of this program in the early 1990s in return for a pledge of a state picking up a particular expense called preschool special education, which they never picked up. So we lost $100 million back then, and we never recovered that money. But it is a 2% cut. It is going to have an impact on local governments across the state. The governor mentioned the state is taking a 10% general fund state agency hit, and in his mind, 5 times greater than the local governments. Everybody has to have a shared sacrifice.
Right.
It could have been worse.
Is there something in terms of the Medicaid cut, which we're going to get to in a second because of your experience on the Medicaid redesign task force, does that impact the counties directly? $2.85 billion that the governor is seeking to cut out of the program. There is not only a state share, but also a federal match, and there's a county share to that, isn't there?
Well, it's very complicated. As you just said, this is a massive $55 billion program. This governor is proposing to limit the growth of this program, or cut the size of this program, greater than any governor has ever done since Governor Nelson Rockefeller in the 1960s when it was started. So he's taking a very bold step here of controlling the cost of this program, limiting it to the medical CPI of 4%. It's been growing at 8 to 10%, or as he just mentioned the other day, 13% from last year.
Right.
So he's going to challenge this Medicaid redesign team to cut $3 billion essentially. That's a lot of money to cut, but I think he's doing it in a thoughtful way, in that he's bringing the stakeholders together, as well as his governmental partner, counties, to try to figure this out together.
Well, actually, it's not only, I don't know, it's a brilliant political strategy, really, because then at the end of it, and it's a very short time period that he's giving the task force that you are now sitting on, only until March 1st, and then saying, hey, I gave you the opportunity to make these cuts yourself, and if you can't, then, pick your poison, and if not, well, I'm just going to chop it off for you. I mean, that's basically what he's saying. You were in the Adirondacks. This team has been meeting all over the place, basically. So what's it like? I mean, what's going on out there?
Well, it's fascinating. We've been to Rochester, we've been to Buffalo, we've been to the Adirondacks.
Do you guys get compensated for that? I mean,
no,
you don't get your per diem,
it's all
or
volunteer.
There's no... Wow,
and he could provide water.
No water?
I think no water. I know we have an austere budget, but there's no water, and there's no compensation
at all. That's extreme.
It's all in our expense. So Buffalo, Rochester, we were in the Adirondacks today, in Queensbury at the Adirondack Community College, and in Long Island.
Hundreds of people are coming out to these
Hundreds
things,
of
aren't
people.
they? Yeah, I've heard
There's
about
200
that.
to 300 people at every venue. The ideas are intriguing. They are thoughtful. Today there was a very interesting person who came to us who is a member of organized crime. And
I'm sorry, what?
He's a member of organized crime family. He is in the witness relocation program, and he announces to the whole crowd
Wait, no, Steve.
that I am now living amongst you.
That's not witness protection. That can't be. You didn't really believe that guy, did you?
I don't know what to
witness
believe.
protection person stands there and says, "Hi, I'm in the mob and I'm under witness protection"?
Well, let me tell you, and he tells us who he used to work for. But his point was, interestingly, the state is paying too much on Medicaid because he was a former multimillionaire who the IRS took all his money. He's on Medicaid now, and he says we're spending too much in pharmaceuticals.
Okay. A former mobster who's in the witness protection program told you that he gets too much drugs.
No, he's paying too much for his drugs.
He's paying too much for his drugs. I see. I get it.
It was fascinating. But the point is, people from all different stripes are coming out, from payers, from providers, from organized crime families saying the state is paying too much in Medicaid, all different types of people, providers, very thoughtful ways to address this problem.
Okay, but some of the members of the team, at least one of them who was here, Dan Sisto, I keep coming back to him. He's from Haney's, obviously.
Sure.
He was here. He said $3 billion is huge, not possible. Can't do it by March 1st. I mean, the alternative is that Governor Cuomo wants the Department of Health to do it for you if the legislature goes along with that. We just don't know how that's going to be. Do you believe, as another member of this team, that $3 billion, $2.85 billion really is doable by March 1?
Well, I don't know, is my answer to that. We are doing a public outreach right now, and the team is going to meet 3 more times. I think it's in our best interest to get together and come up with a consensus opinion here. If we can't do it, the result is essentially across-the-board cuts.
Right.
And that helps nobody. So are we going to be thoughtful? Are we going to engage in this process and come up with a plan, or are we going to allow a different system to take away the outcome of it? I think it is a very difficult task that he has challenged us to do. So I agree with Dan Sisto, but I think it can be done.
The other team that you're on is the mandate relief team. Seems to be a little bit less far along. I mean, this one, there's a lot of action, a lot of focus on Medicaid, obviously. The mandate relief team the charge was, guys, come up with ways to provide relief for counties, for school districts, because they say that they're all choking, in particular if they get this property tax cap. If it doesn't come along with mandate relief, people are going to be quite upset. Where is that action right now?
Well, that's the other program that we're focusing in on, and that's really what people across the state are very interested in seeing, is controlling the property taxes. We need to stabilize and reduce property taxes, but with it and connected to it, we have to reform the mandates that are driving the root cause of property taxes. This is a little different in that it's so scattershot. At least with the Medicaid program, we know the universe that we're dealing with: home care, personal care, hospitals, nursing homes. Those types of programs is very focused in healthcare. With the mandate team, it runs the gamut from environmental issues to public works to public health to labor relations and tri-borough issues and all these things that essentially are tying the hands of local government and how they run these programs locally. So we are going to submit hundreds and hundreds of ideas to the governor within the next few weeks.
Okay, and one of these things I just want to say, this is a report that your organization is going to be submitting to the governor. This is actually just the cover page, so not the whole thing. This is a conference that you're having, an annual NISAC conference, and have you asked the governor to come and speak to you at this conference?
We have. We've not heard from him yet. I'm hoping that he does come. We have the comptroller, the attorney general, the leaders of the Senate, both the majority and the minority, the leaders of the Assembly, both the majority and the minority, but we don't have our chief executive yet. So I hope he comes to what should be a record crowd of over 1,000 people, elected officials from all over the state, wanting to see their chief elected.
Well, but it's traditional. I mean, governors in the past have always gone to this thing. On the flip side, it's not like he's not available. You can see him on the internet. Today he's in Westchester. We expect he's going to be in Buffalo. He gave a State of the State speech. Then he was giving his Taking It to the People speech. I mean, he's really all over the place. But it is a traditional thing for him to attend this event.
It is a traditional thing for a governor to come, be at this event, to see the elected officials all in one place in Albany. At the same time, he could deliver a message statewide in one forum. So I hope he does come. He has a lot to talk to us about with his budget and his property tax cap proposal, which has a direct impact on everybody in that room.
Right, and has passed the Senate, but not yet the Assembly. Any word on that?
No word. The Speaker introduced the bill. We have set up some meetings to meet with the Speaker and his staff to explain our position on the issue. We support controlling property taxes and cutting them, and we want to work with both houses and the governor to achieve that.
Okay, well, I'm sure that we will see. Thank you very much in the meantime, Steve Acquario, for coming in to talk to us.
Thank you.